There we go. Now the audio should be on. I apologize about that. I forgot I muted that. Okay. Well, let's restart because I kind of have to. Gonna try and make it quicker this time. So, Troy Balderson, 50.2%. Denny O'Connor, 49.3%. 0.9% difference with all the votes in. We're waiting to see 8,000 more votes counted to see if that can get within the recount range, which is why we are not calling that. Recounts definitely happening in Kansas with a Republican primary for governor. Chris Kobach leads by just 0.1 percentage point, less than 100 votes, I think. Something along those lines. It's very, very tight. There's almost certainly going to be a recount in that race. The automatic recount range is 0.5% as well here. It's 0.1% as of now. And in the other outstanding race, Sheriff Davids has 37%. Brent Welder has 34%. The reason we do not have a call here is because a candidate can initiate a recount, and we do not have a concession from Brent Welder. The reason we would think he might request one is a lot of funny business in Johnson County, which did not report all of their results until 8 in the morning, which is just 2 hours ago. So that is why we don't have projections in those 3 races. Now let's go over what we do have calls in. And of course, the big things are going to be the key stuff we were watching. So we're going to go all the way down to Missouri. And I called this very early on tonight if anyone here was watching last night. Missouri voters shot down right to work by a large margin. 68% of Missouri voters in the primary voted against Proposition A to keep the right to work law. Only 33% voted to keep it. So that's a huge, huge win for unions, a huge defeat for conservatives in Missouri. Now, in terms of the ones that were fascinating to watch, Austin Peterson did not do as well as some might have thought, mainly his supporters, of course. Josh Hawley, the Attorney General, got 59%, and Austin Peterson came in third with just 8% of the vote. So it was a pretty big wipeout, and considering how Josh Hawley's campaign has been, that kind of hurts him. Claire McCaskill also ran away with her race, easily defeating her challengers. Interesting thing to note, very, very close in terms of primary turnout. Another victory for the incumbent, or the establishment, or the favored, whatever, is in District 1. William Lacey Clay defeated Cori Bush by around 30,000 votes with all the votes counted. And in the 2nd district, this is considered competitive in November. You can see one reason: a lot more Democratic votes than Republican votes. And Court Van Ostrin is going to be taking on incumbent Republican Ann Wagner in November. This was unexpectedly close. Renee Hoganson defeating Haley Thompson by just 4% of the vote. Not much there, as you can see. 46,000 votes to 101. This is a pretty solid red district. Not expected to be competitive in November. Here you have Henry Martin winning here. Jamie Schoolcraft, winning here. Another solid red seat. Pretty much those were the key races we were watching in Kansas. Now, in Michigan, it's taking a while to load. Gretchen Whitmer defeated Abdul El-Sayed and Sri Tandar with 52% of the vote, compared to Abdul El-Sayed's 30%, so a 20% margin of victory. Fascinating that Sri Tandar did significantly worse than polls showed. In terms of the Attorney General, won the Republican one. The Republican primary for Governor Bill Schuett, the Attorney General of the state, won with 51% to Brian Calley's 25%. So both pretty big wipeouts in those 2 primaries. John James defeated Sandy Penzler for the Republican nomination for this likely Democratic seat. And if I can go over my notes here. Take a look at what else we got. I will when I'm done. I'll take a look when I'm done running down all these primary results. Okay? Because there were a lot of them last night. And now I'm going to go over to my other... I got my Michigan notes here. Because we got... Well, first, let's go to the 11th. This is still too close to call. Actually, I did not know that. I guess I should have reviewed things a little more before I came on air. Currently, Haley Stevens leads with 28% of the vote. Tim Greenmail in second place with 23%. Sunil Gupta not far behind with 21%. Faraz Saad at 18% with 14% left to go. So that is still too close to call. Same on the Republican side. Lena Epstein with a 5% lead over Rocky Brzezowski. And same amount of the votes in. You can see, though, there are slightly more Republican votes than Democratic votes at this point in time. And by the way, I'll look at my notes here to see what kind of candidate is in the lead here. Alright. So, Haley Stevens is apparently an Obama administration official. Got that in my notes here. I don't see where the Michigan are. There it is. Okay. Epstein is currently the one in the lead. She was the one with the most money, was sort of a more mainstream candidate. And the moderate candidate is doing significantly worse, or 10% behind. Most likely not going to win that one. Now in District 13, this one is fascinating. There's a special election that's going to be held on the same day as the general election. So there's primaries for both of them. And you can see in the general election primary, Rashida Tlaib, who is the progressive candidate, won. She is the projected winner. But in the special primary, Brenda Jones, another candidate, is currently in the lead. So that is incredibly fascinating. For those curious, this is a safe Democratic seat formerly held by John Conyers. There aren't any Republicans running in this one. And that is all of our Michigan results. I'm going to go to Kansas. I'm going to go to Kansas now. And I'm going to go over the ones we didn't just go over. In the governor primary, Democrats are going to be definitely more unified than the Republicans on this one. Laura Kelly got 52%. Second closest was Carl Brewer at 20%, so a pretty significant victory. And going to be recount in the Democratic one, that's for sure. In the Republican one for District 2, I can take a look at my notes. I don't have much there. This is a vulnerable seat. This is Lynn Jenkins is the retiring Republican representative. Paul Davis is a Democrat. He's running uncontested. He won this district by 6 percentage points in a statewide run against Sam Brownback in 2014, just 4 years ago. So this is a competitive seat. And Steve Watkins narrowly edged out Karen Tyson by just 3 percentage points. In District 3, I already mentioned how that was too close to call. Kevin Yoder got 68% in his primary against Trevor Keegan and Joe Myers. And as expected, in District 4, James Thompson is going to be having a rematch with Ron Estes. So there was a special election last year for the seat. It was one of the first special elections, actually. And it was within 6 percentage points, so it was closer than expected. The Republican one is especially fascinating, though, because it's literally to Ron Estes. Apparently, though, the ballot must have had some sort of designation as to which one was currently the actual incumbent, or voters were just very knowledgeable, because it's a pretty big win there. Secretary of State, Republicans in the race to replace good old Chris Kobach. Scott Schwab is the projected winner with 38% to Duncan's 20%. That's around a 50,000 vote lead. Now I'm checking to make sure I don't have any other races that I'm watching now that are at this state. So yeah, now the final state, and where we also don't have some results, but we do have some results. And in the general election for the U.S. Senate, Maria Cantwell will be facing Suzanne Hutchinson. Maria Cantwell, of course, is favored to easily win that race. 68% of the vote in statewide. Suzanne Delbane will face Jeffrey Beeler. We do not know whether it be a Republican or an independent who will be facing Rick Larson. he's the Democratic incumbent, saw a Democratic seat. In District 3, surprisingly close. I don't think this is considered competitive. Now, of course, 41% for the Republican incumbent. You can see 5%, so that goes to 46. So it's around 50% of the vote. So that's unexpectedly close at this point in time, but to my knowledge, it isn't rated as competitive. 41% for the incumbent Republican, 36.6% for challenger Kellen Long. Those two will be facing off. Nothing really to report in the fourth. Kathy McMorris Rogers will face Lisa Brown in District 5. 0.4% difference between those two. So, looks like that's going to be a pretty close race. And I believe that's the number 4 House Republican. So, that's pretty interesting. In District 8, we do not know which Democrat will be taking on Diana Rossi. We do know Diana Rossi will be in the general election. We do not know who will face him. Kim Schreier and Jason Rittersire both have a very good chance. 68% of the vote is in. Both could advance. See if I have anything in my notes. Alright. So, fascinating. Rittersire is the most progressive candidate in the race. So, progressives have not had many victories tonight. This might be a victory. I'm going to take a look real quick to see what's out, if I can gauge anything from it. And I don't think I can. It looks like... Well, actually I can. It's just I don't see the second place candidate. So, obviously, Rittersire is behind. He's the one who needs to make stuff up. He still has a couple precincts to go there. Personally, I think it looks like Kim Schreier is going to be the nominee there. That's what I'm saying. And Washington 9, this is very fascinating. Incumbent Democrat Adam Smith is facing a progressive challenger and a Republican in this primary. We do not know who's going to be facing him in the general election. Currently, the Republican has 27% to Sarah Smith's 23%. It's around a 4% difference, or around 3,000 votes, with a little less than 40% to go. And if we take a look at what's in, you can see Bassler is winning most of the stuff, but once again, we do not have much really to take a look at there. So those are all the primary results. A lot of tight stuff. Sorry, I'm trying here. Plus, it's also early morning. I readjust my mic. Alright, and if we could be so lovely as to if I could get to the channel. I believe this is your channel. Alright. I'm trying to check it as much as I can. I'll move my laptop over. The only issue is that it's not exactly the best on charge. Last night kind of drained it a good bit. I don't have much time to charge it back up. I get my Tennessee notes. It's a bit of a mess down here. Or at least over here. Yeah, I need to wake up my laptop first. I apologize. My desktop no, excuse me. My laptop is being a little slow to the wake up, so it might be a minute before I can get that going. Which video do we want me to react to? I don't know if I can react to that first one, because I don't know, but it's a little long. It's 25 or so minutes. Trying to check this as much as I can. Which ones? Any order in particular you'd like? Because, I mean, there's 4 here that I haven't watched. I have watched one of your videos before, the CNN one. Not sure if you could tell by the red bar or not. I'm trying to also get it to where I can actually see you easier while I'm doing all this. Okay, yeah, my laptop's just being slow right now. Pick. Well, I guess I'll go shortest to longest then.
This is my fight song. Take back
Oh.
my life song.
Gonna turn it down a little bit. Oh, I thought you meant pick. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, Rick Scott protest. You mean Adam Putnam? There's Trump rally, and then there's Adam Putnam. I mean, I'll do them both anyway. I'll just do the NRA sellout one first.
She has cleaned up our pill mills. She's taking on the opioid manufacturers. She's protecting our children. She's bringing an end to sexual trafficking in our state. She puts bad guys behind bars. And most importantly, She is my dear friend and our very own Pam Bondi. Let's thank her for her service. We are focused. Hang on a second. I'll be happy to meet with you afterwards. We love that you're here. Putting Florida first. Putting Florida first means putting Florida's public safety first. And that is something that Pam and our law enforcement officials have done. I am honored to have been endorsed by 46 of Florida's 66 elected sheriffs. It's an incredible movement. In addition, I've been endorsed by the PBA and the FOP and our firefighters. And some of our firefighters are here today. Let's give all of our first responders a round of applause. These first responders run into situations that everyone else is running away from. And everything we want to accomplish for Florida must build on the fact that we have a 47-year low in our crime rate. We're going to put jobs first. We're going to put vocational and technical training back into our high schools, back into our middle schools, and support our VOTECs and our community colleges. We're going to do that and continue to build better job opportunities for the future of Florida. Our future is bright. Our future is strong with a Florida first agenda. Am I right? Yeah. That's a Florida jobs first agenda. That's a Florida safety and security first agenda. And we begin by putting our families first. Building strong families builds a strong state. And I'm proud to be here with leaders like John Stemberger and Scott Plakin, who are leaders in our faith community, and we're going to bring back.
Alright. So was that you there? I'm assuming so. You were recording that. I'm assuming. There's one more video. It's only 39 seconds. That shouldn't be too bad. Well, now this one we have to turn down.
The Bernie Sanders protesters had much more enthusiasm and spirit than this one. The problem with these Hillary protesters is my people, they go there, so it's going there, there. You can't even hear the person.
What was this? When was this one recorded? Was that during the 2016 election or? Now I do have a way to where I can actually. Obviously, I can't show you, but if I look right behind me, I can see you. I'm pretty sure I saw you there. Pretty sure I saw you there. Right. Oh, and by the way, in terms of candidate statements, that's another thing I'm watching for while we're streaming, particularly from Brent Welder. I really want to see what his statement is. So I'm going to get his Twitter account pulled up to see if we can get anything. We already know Denny O'Connor has said that the race is too close to call and he is not conceding yet. And he has not said anything since election night. So in that race, there's still nothing. No. And also, this isn't really a primary. This is just sort of a side news story. The Rick. I didn't. No offense, but I didn't see one there. I see Marco Rubio. I mean, unless it's Marco Rubio and Rick. I mean, the only issue is it's a little bit of a long video, and I do want to try and cover stuff too. Yeah, like for example, this. this just came out this morning. Representative Chris Collins of New York has been arrested by the FBI on securities fraud related charges. Scott protest. I mean, I'm on your channel, I don't see it. Which one of these is it? There it is. I don't know why it didn't show up on your video channel. I'll check again. Make sure it doesn't show up. Okay. That's weird. Oh, I click it again and there it appears. That made about 0 sense, YouTube. But yeah, I can't watch this. It's just a minute 30.
We've no healthcare. I've no healthcare for me. My son has no services. You won't reply to my emails. You don't reply to my phone calls. You don't reply to my letters. Nothing.
Too weak to even look at the
So,
signs.
let's go.
It's the truth.
Oh, there we go. We are leaving. We are leaving. And he doesn't even acknowledge us here. Nothing. It's like we're in the So, let's go. Let's go. Hasn't even got the guts to look at a disabled child. Takes the money.
Alright, let me look closer at that. It's a little... JJ? Who is JJ? Haven't heard. Yeah. I guess it is time to look at this candidate. Nate McMurray just got the luckiest break of his life. I'm curious as to what kind of Democrat we're talking about here. Because it's a Trump plus 24 district. It's a pretty red district, but being arrested ain't gonna help. So, issues. Immigration. Healthcare is always the biggest one. He supports Medicare for all. That's pretty impressive. Infrastructure investment, cannabis legalization. I'm sure he supports that. Living wage. Okay, so this sounds like a progressive. Oh, you. Well, I need to know your specific policies. Like, are you progressive Democrat? Or are you more of a centrist Democrat, blue dog? I mean, need specifics. Need details. Home state would also be helpful. If it's competitive, that gives you a distinct advantage there. But yeah. In terms of race updates, we can probably do some of those now. I mean, it's live. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, let's get to 270 to win, and need to make sure I'm on my predictions here. Because I do have updates I do want to do to this. And Bernie, so you're a Bernie Sanders type Democrat. That tells me all I need to know. And once again, home state would be useful. Just okay, but if we could change this real quick. Yeah, 2018 predictions. Going to put this. I need to expand this a little bit. Okay, expand a little more. Move you. There we go. And okay, here's the 20. Okay, Florida. Okay, this, and I'm assuming you against Trump 2020. All right, let's see. Well, first off, we gotta make it authentic. So it's gonna be last name, right? So Holmes Trump. Now, waiting for this thing to load. Seems to be having a tough time, actually. Ah, there we go. And we're trying to get to that. Alright. Dem name. Should be able to change that. There we go. I don't even have to do much to change this one. So there it is, official. Reset map. Gonna go blank. Fill in the safe states, of course. California, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming. There it goes. Kansas, Oklahoma, Utah would be safe. Alaska, Hawaii, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, Indiana, Missouri, too. Illinois, safe blue. New York, Vermont, pretty much most of this northeast. Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, and DC. Anything else I'm missing? I don't believe so. So those are all the safe states, 183 to 125, of course. Now, I'm going to start with these states that are probably going to stay in the Republican column. Texas and Maine's second. Pretty likely to stay in the Republican column. New Mexico, Minnesota, and Maine at large are pretty likely to stay Democrat. So, based on home state advantage, I'll give you Florida. Now, I don't think Georgia is going to be flipping by 2020. I think it's going to be close. I don't know about flip. I think Virginia holds probably as well. I think Michigan flips back pretty easily. I don't think Trump can win Colorado anymore. After what his administration has done on marijuana, I don't think he can win that state. He probably holds on to Arizona. And no offense, but I don't know if you can get the minority turn out in states like that, which is also why I'm going to award Trump North Carolina. But I am going to award you Wisconsin, which puts you at 270. In Pennsylvania, Trump won Ohio by a pretty large margin, and so I think that stays with him. I think Nebraska too, and Iowa stay red. New Hampshire probably stays blue, and Nevada. Ta-da! Maybe a little bit, but Alabama's still pretty solid red. Yeah. I mean, in terms of, I think this is a pretty decent electoral map in terms of things. 307, 231. To me, in general, Bernie Democrats overperform in the Midwest, underperform a bit in the South sort of areas. Your home state being Florida changes that. If this were Bernie, I'd change Florida to Republican, to be honest with you. I don't think Bernie could win Florida. Yeah. So now, in terms of updated predictions, the whole problem here is I need to have my map. And I need to get that up real quick. Well, you gotta prove that. You gotta prove that. I mean, this is very hypothetical, you know. Yeah, it's being pretty slow. That does not surprise me with all the stuff I'm doing. I probably should close some of this stuff down. Streaming is not easy on the computer. It's tough on it. As I was saying, I probably don't need the calculator up at this point in time. Excuse me. There it goes. Okay. Well, gosh darn. Well, we are suffering from some performance issues here, aren't we? So I'm trying to help here. August 7th. Well, I mean, I don't think there's going to be a time anytime soon to where 538 electoral votes are won by one candidate. I think America has become way too partisan for that to be realistic nowadays. See, I'm just now trying to close stuff for performance boosts because I am trying to get predictions up. Team primaries to watch. 2018 predictions. I still need to figure out how to do election nights. I mean, in terms of traditional predictor ones. I mean, personally, I enjoy just covering it live, like doing the actual thing. Yeah. First, I'm gonna update governor predictions because if it doesn't bug out on me. Most of these are staying the same, except for one, actually two, because of that beautiful tilt feature that they just added. I'm going to change the Kansas rating from lean Republican to toss-up. I'm going to change the Georgia rating, if we could get the the tilt, to tilt Republican. So a small shift towards the Democrats in the governor's races. I'm going to update that. I'm going to copy paste it here. Give us the update. And in terms of the safe, 5 likely. Now 3 in lean, 7 in the toss-up column. 1 tilts Republican. 4 lean Republican. 2 are likely. 9 are safe. And of course, I also need to put these into their respective columns. Well, actually, I don't have a tilt column. That's terrible. I don't know what to do. I can't change that one. I still can put Kansas though into that column. So Kansas, you're getting booted. You mean call all of these in terms of what I think is going to happen? I mean, I can. I mean, some of these I do believe are true, pure toss-ups, to be honest, but I'll give what I think is more likely. I think Republicans, excuse me, I need to change that. I think Republicans take Alaska out of these toss-ups. I think they also take Arizona out of these toss-ups. I think I need more information on that Kansas race. As of now, I think Republicans take the Nevada race. In terms of Democrats, I think they take Florida, Ohio, Wisconsin, and according to the latest polling, Kansas. So this is what I call 24 Democrats, 26 Republicans going into this election. You can see 16 Democrats, huge increase in terms of the numbers. And when you have Florida, I think once we get all the primaries in, because there are very contested primaries on both sides in Florida, that I think that will tilt into the Democrat column. Florida is one of those more fascinating states, though. Alright, and this is actually something I was going to do a little bit ago, though I haven't done anything on it before. So I'm going to go now to the Senate predictions. And I shifted a lot of these. So here's... Am I missing something? Am I missing something? Let me make sure I got the right one up. Okay. I just kind of missed something pretty important. The margin isn't changed. 47 Democrats, 48 Republicans, 5 toss-ups. It's the same in the new map and the old map. This is the old map right here. This is the new map. There are shifts towards the Democrats and towards the Republicans in both of these. Florida is not a very progressive state, to be frank, in terms of its statewide offices. It voted for Hillary Clinton overwhelmingly in 2016. And it's in general, like the South, a bit more conservative, so it's always had a bit more of a Republican tilt to it, though it's still a very significant swing state. But yeah. So this is the current updated Senate map as of now. And if you had to ask me to call who the winners are, especially after last night's results, I think Democrats hold Florida. I think Democrats take Tennessee and Missouri. I think Republicans take Indiana and North Dakota, giving the Democrats a net gain of 1, with Republicans narrowly holding on to the majority. That's, if I had to call every toss-up, that's my personal prediction, but it's just my personal prediction, and I'm not going to put my personal prediction in terms of, because those are toss-ups in my eyes. And of course, I also moved a couple of these others, but they aren't, most of them aren't significant. Now the U.S. House, jeez, this one's just a nightmare, by the way. Props to everyone, seriously. You have to give credit to anyone who goes through the House of Representatives, because there's just a ton of races. I have some ballsy things in here, some not so. And I'm not going over every single one of these things. But in my predictions, Democrats are favored in 204 House races, Republicans favored in 196, 35 toss-up seats. 30. This is my old prediction. It was generally less competitive. Democrats had 208. Republicans had 205. Both parties received drop-offs. Republicans received more of a drop-off. Democrats lost 4 seats. Republicans lost 9 seats. And you can see the biggest expansion. You can see the lean Republican and the likely Republican. Alright, I apologize for that. Should be back on. Should be back on now. Continue where I was at. Essentially, the House is very close. I still think Democrats are favored to take the House. And as you saw, I think Republicans are favored to hold the Senate. So that is still my prediction as of now at this current point in time, though. Here is New York throwing off my balance. I think I gotta update that now. I can get to that race. Nate McMurray is running in New York 27. Was rated as solid Republican. Now I'm going to change my rating to lean Republican. So, still favored for the Republicans, but not as big of a margin. I'm going to put this back in because just these developments, they come consistently. So that is all the updated predictions, essentially. And like I said, the big thing we're waiting on is for more results out of Washington and statements from candidates like Brent Welder. So we don't really have much else to do, just kind of chilling, really. Of course, anyone who tunes in can talk. So yeah, Nate Silver. Chris Collins District, New York 27, is really quite red. Surprisingly so for New York State. But not so red that Democrats don't have a shot there against a guy just arrested by the FBI. The Democratic candidate in New York 27 is Nate McMurray, the town supervisor of Grand Island. So, and below that, based on research using base balance scandals data set, I found that a scandal cost a House candidate somewhere on the order of 10 to 12 percentage points of vote margin. It's a pretty significant effect, and the scandal is perhaps on the more severe side. So Democrats just got a huge boom in this one. This is another fascinating. Okay, apparently Washington 3 is on the target list. I don't remember seeing that. I guess I have to look. Current two-party vote spreads and 3 Democratic targets. 50.3 to 49.7 in Washington 3. Washington 5. Democrats currently have the lead. Election night. Or detail, like, I think you said this earlier, didn't you? And so WA8. Here after he's post condensate and gone to bed. Yeah, the West Coast still got some stuff. So yeah, it is very, very interesting to see all this stuff. And heck, I totally forgot there's other stuff. Work on it. Live? I mean, I guess I can do that. I don't know about now. I mean, it's pretty early in the morning. I'd rather do this at night. That's my thing. I love working at night. It's one of the fun things about election stuff is it's night. I get to do stuff all night. It's fun. But if I were to do an election night work, I think I'd do it during the night because it's pretty early in the morning, and I mean, still, plus we do have results that we're still watching. We still gotta get more stuff out of Washington. We aren't all done here. As crazy as it is, morning after, still don't have all the results. And man, I tell you, this one is just fascinating in Kansas. Okay, we do have a projected victor. Does that mean? Does that mean what I think it means? Well, I don't have PowerPoint. I use Google Slides more. Use Google Slides. I could show you. I've made templates before on Google Slides. Actually, I already have Drive Up. I can just use that. Like, this is one of them. This is MSNBC 2008. I tried to get it as close to the 2008 one as I could. I think I did a pretty decent job. This thing seems to be causing lag in and of itself. Ahead of you. I'm ahead of you. But yeah, here's like my template that I made for MSNBC 2008. I'm pretty proud of it. I've made a number of these. And that's MSNBC 2008. I made a lot of these. If I can get them. Is this a 2008 one or is it 2016? Just trying to look through all these. Yeah, it is 2016. Now, they didn't have really any poll closing thing I could bring up, so I just used the MSNBC 2008 one. But yeah, race to 270. And I actually have this made. Hillary versus McCain. That would be such a fascinating thing. I mean, and I could do that. Oh, and by the way, I will note, this was a little while ago I made this, because this is back when Mike Braun was considered dead. Yeah. See, because what I had is, of course, I had the template. I had Republican incumbents and Democratic incumbents, and then again for both parties. I thought Luke Messer was the one I picked. Apparently I need to update that, and I have too early / too close to call. Looks a little messy when you have both of them, of course, but... And all the poll closings. Then... This should be the CNN one. This was the first of these I made, by the way. This one took hours. So I was just learning how to do it. I don't know why I have Nebraska there, actually. I think someone edited that. I'm a little annoyed about that. Yeah. So, yeah, this is what I have. And, of course, too close to call. And I had all the poll closings, though. It was a bit meh in terms of how it looked. And here was a bit of an example I made. Like I said, this took forever to make, this stuff. I try to do every network I could. There's still some that are just too challenging. ABC 2008, in particular. ABC I still need to do. ABC is a tough one to figure out. Right now I'm trying to figure out where another one of them is. There it is. That took forever to find for some reason. Would it open? Thank you. And this was based off of Fox News. I'm also pretty impressed with how close I got to this one. And I also had two choices of backgrounds, but they both look nice. There isn't too much to this one, though. I will say that. Fox News is pretty simplistic in terms of they don't have much variety in terms of what they have in calls. It's just this, really. Though this is a very, very in-depth screen here. I believe that's all of the ones I have made. So I did Fox News, MSNBC, the Senate. I mean, I could. Well, like I said earlier, I don't know if I want to do that right now. I feel like I want to do that later. More in the night, because, like I said, I like working in the night more. I mean, I could stream it if you want later in the night if I'm still kicking. That is when I would do it, if I were to do it. Right, now I'm trying to see if we have anything significant, and it doesn't look like it. In terms of, we still don't have anything from Brett Welder. It looks like they have now called his race, New York Times. Still, I'm sorry, I just really don't like working on that stuff in the morning. Especially since we're getting close to 11 in the morning, and it's around this time that, you know, some other people might want to start getting on the computer in just a little bit. So, another thing is when I start working on something, I want to be able to work on it for as long as I want. The main thing I'm watching for is to see if we get anything out of these results that aren't in yet. This to me is just funny. It's an independent and a Republican and another Democrat. Probably around noon, maybe a little earlier, maybe a little after. Around that range. Yeah. These three contending for this district, and there's still getting a bit out in this district. And by the way, you want to know a nightmare for typing in stuff? This. Oh, Senate races. Oh, Senate races with blanket primaries. Even though, like, this is not competitive at all. Maria Cantwell is easily going to sweep this thing. So yeah, and we're at now 66%. No, 64%, excuse me. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's too much of a difference. I mean, Mover is the Republican. He is second. Man, it's just a mess all over this district. It's just a mess. There are times to where, depending on which counties are in and which aren't, you can get a pretty decent gauge of how big of a chance there is for any candidate to win. That's how you make projections usually. But when the results are like that, you can't get anything out of it. Unless you're like paying really, really close attention and when it's a big thing. Yep. Why? I don't have to stop yet. I do have one other thing I do want to mention. Because I do need to make sure I'm correct on this one. But I don't see any reason why I wouldn't be. If we could get to 2018 election calendar. Yep. New York Times, why you gotta be like this? Okay. Well, I got Politico too, so I can do that. We're gonna go down. This is August 7th, so August 11th. August 11th. So that is this weekend. On Saturday. And that's going to be, I'm pretty sure, pretty late. And, well, that's the next primary we're going to be covering. So on Saturday night, sometime, we're going to be covering this thing. I mean, polls close at 6 p.m. in Hawaii, but I'm pretty sure Hawaii time, so I still need to figure out when I'm going to start that stream, because usually I like to start my streams around 10 to 20 minutes before the poll closing, because there isn't anything to talk about before then, really, and it gives me time, of course, to make sure everything's ready, and, you know, yeah. And, of course, next week we have Connecticut, Minnesota, South Dakota, Vermont, and Wisconsin. All of those states have fascinating primaries to watch too. So we've got results coming in all these states very soon. So yeah, I'm probably about to stop streaming. I just sort of wanted to do like I said, it's entirely just a morning rundown of everything. I'll probably, like I said, I'll probably work on it later tonight. I have other things I need to catch up on too. I need to keep up to date with the results as they come in, and I also have some other stuff like you know, videos stuff, because I watch my own YouTube videos. I have to catch up on like everybody else. Is there an issue with the stream? According to this, there isn't. Don't know what the issue is, but yeah, I have to catch up on all the freaking other people who covered it, because last night I was 6 hours covered it myself, and now I need to watch CNN, MSNBC. Slightly curious about what Fox did, and then the other YouTuber I watch, like Let's Talk Elections. I need to watch him and his coverage of it. It seems like he did something interesting with it. But he only covered it for 3 hours. But yeah, so I have to watch all that. I need to catch up on stuff, and of course, I have to get all this stuff ready for the next stream. Okay, if you say so. But yeah, I also have to get, because I cannot tell you how long it took to get this ready. If I can get this back up. This took forever to get ready. All these results. So I need to get the Hawaii stuff set up, and I need to get Connecticut, Minnesota, South Dakota, and all that other stuff set up too. So I have a lot of stuff to do other than election nights. Like, I have to set up for the actual election nights. So yeah, and I also hope to put more in depth. For one thing, Hawaii, it shouldn't be this freaking crowded on the screen. I won't have to have anything in the middle. I mean, I could start getting rid of some stuff now if I really wanted to. I'm not going to. So yeah, I got a lot of stuff to do. But yeah, so I think I'm about to sign off. So thank you for watching, JJ. If anyone else is watching, try what? Try what? I'll try it when I get the chance to. I mean, like I said, I have a lot of stuff I need to do. I mean, it's Saturday, so I've only got like a few days to get that ready, and then right after that, just a few days after that, I have to get the Tuesday results ready. So if I have free time, I'll try and work on it. But the idea you proposed is a very fascinating one. It's just hopefully I have time to. But yeah, thank you for watching, though. I do appreciate it, and enjoy your day. Certainly going to try and enjoy mine, relax a little more after last night. There's a lot going on last night, but see ya sometime soon, hopefully.